Then the Senate, mostly elder statesmen, ex-magistrates. Initially, they didn't pass laws directly, but had immense influence, auctoritas, over policy, money.
And the people had a voice, too, through assemblies.
Citizen assemblies for voting on laws, electing those magistrates. It was a mix.
And they even planned for crises with a dictator.
Yeah, but very carefully. A temporary dictator, appointed only in dire emergencies and strictly limited just 6 months max.
It sounds on paper like they thought of everything to avoid tyranny.
You'd think so. But the sources stress that underneath all that structure, the fault lines were always there. Elite ambition versus what the people wanted, the army's needs versus citizens' rights, tradition bumping up against the need for change. These weren't minor issues. They were deep cracks waiting to widen.
And Rome's incredible success, its expansion, just put immense pressure on those cracks.
Absolutely. First Italy, then they started looking further afield.
Which leads us straight into the Punic Wars, right? Against Carthage.
The defining conflicts, yeah. 264 to 146 BCE, on and off. The sources love the dramatic bits, like Hannibal and his elephants crossing the Alps. Can you imagine?
Incredible image. And the result wasn't just winning, it was total domination.
Utterly. Carthage destroyed, population enslaved, land supposedly salted, though that salt part is debated by historians. But the point is, Rome was now the power in the Mediterranean, an empire in all but name, perhaps.
But that conquest had huge knock-on effects back home, didn't it? The sources seem very clear on this.
Crystal clear. All this new wealth pouring in, it mostly went to the top. The gap between the super rich and everyone else just grew enormously.
That changed society itself.
Profoundly. And think about the scale of slavery. Millions enslaved through conquest. They flooded Italy, undermining the small farmers who were the traditional backbone of the army and the republic.
So the army changes too.
Massively.
Yeah.
It starts shifting from, citizens doing their duty to a more professional force, and critically, loyalty starts shifting too.
Away from the state and towards the general.
Exactly. This is the rise of the generals phase.
Yeah.
Figures like Gaius Marius, later Sulla, late 2nd, early 1st century BCE, they didn't just win battles, they broke the rules.
How so? What rules?
They started recruiting soldiers directly, promising them land, rewards, things the state wasn't providing. So armies became loyal to them, personally.
That sounds dangerous.
It was.
Yeah.
And it led to the unthinkable. One source gives this chilling line: no one in history had dared bring legions into Rome. Sulla did it first. Others would follow.
He marched his own army on his own capital.
To seize power, yes, a fundamental taboo shattered. And the civil wars that followed Marius versus Sulla, and the ones after, they just proved the Republican system couldn't handle the pressures of empire.